with 24 CF 8410. Mr. Griffith is present with Ms. Thornhill and Mr. Hendry. Mr. Levine is here for the state. I understand the jury has reached a verdict.
Yes, Judge.
Let's have the jury, please.
All right, please.
Please be seated. If you are the foreperson, please raise your hand. For the record, juror number 1980896 has raised his or her hand. You may put your hand down. Juror number 1980896, if the jury has reached a verdict, please raise your hand. That juror has his or her hand raised. You may put your hand down. Please pass the verdict form to the bailiff. There are no defects nor omissions in the verdict. Counsel for the state, counsel for the defendant, rise and hearken to the verdict. Mr. Griffith, rise and hearken to the verdict.
State of Florida versus Collin Griffith. Will the jury find as follows? As to the defendant in this case, the defendant, as to count one, the defendant is not guilty. As to count two, the defendant is not guilty. So say will, this 5th day of February, 2025.
Does the state wish to have the jury polled? You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the considerable time and attention you have given this case. I also want to advise you of some very special privileges you now enjoy having served on this jury. No juror can ever be required to discuss what has occurred in the jury room, with rare exception, and that would require a court order following a fully noticed hearing. For centuries, our society has relied upon juries to consider difficult cases. And during that time, we have agreed a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to have to speak about the jury's work. Although at this point you are at liberty to speak to anyone you would like to about this case, including your deliberations, you are equally free to refuse to do so. A request may come from those who are simply curious, perhaps from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you individually to determine whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. On behalf of the entire 10th Circuit and all assembled here, I humbly thank you for your service. You are now discharged.
All rise, please.
Mr. Griffith, the jury having found you not guilty in each count, you are hereby adjudicated to be not guilty in each count and forever discharged for these offenses. We will be adjourned.